Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today's video is about Bhismacharya and we will see who he was, because in the next video he does Bhishma Stuti, praises by Bhishma to Lord Krishna. So Bhismacharya, he was one of the most powerful warriors in history. He was well known for his strength, courage, wisdom, and the strong principles he followed in life. He was the supreme commander of the Kaurava army. He was the son of the holy river Ganga and King Shantanu, and he was known by many other names like Devabrata, Bhishma Pitamaha, Ganga Putra. So Ganga Devi is also known by many names. So in this video she'll be referred to as the holy river Ganga, Ganga Devi, Ganges. So once when King Shantanu was walking along the banks of the holy river Ganga, he met a beautiful lady. So the moment he saw her, he wanted to marry her and asked her approval for marriage. And that beautiful lady was actually the holy river Ganga in the human form. So she agreed to the marriage, but she had two conditions. One, he should never question her identity. So King Shantanu, he never knew she was Ganga up to this point. And the second condition was that he should never question any of her actions. King Shantanu agreed to the two conditions. They got married and they had a happy married life. Soon, Ganga Devi gave birth to a beautiful son. But the moment the child was born, she immersed the son in the Ganges. Not one. 7 of her sons. The moment they are born, she'll immerse them in the Ganges. So when she was about to immerse her 8th son, who's actually Bhismacharya, King Shantanu, he could not control himself. He was so angry that he broke the condition by questioning her. So he asked her, "Are you a mother? How heartless are you to kill all our sons?" To which Ganga Devi replied in a very sad tone that she was not that she was a heartless mother, but it was under a curse that she had to immerse her 7 sons. So these 8 sons born to Ganga Devi, they were actually called as Vasus, the noble men of heaven. So once when they were on a picnic, they came across sage Vasishta's ashram, and there they saw the beautiful Nandini cow. Nandini cow is the daughter of Kamadhenu cow. So they tried to, kidnap her. So when sage Vasishta came to know of this, he was so furious that he cursed the 8 Vasus that you will be born on earth in your next birth, and only one Vasu called as Prabhasa, who's actually Bhishmacharya in his next birth, will stay on earth. The remaining 7 Vasus will come back to heaven. And Ganga Devi told King Shantanu that by immersing the 7 children in the Ganges, she actually relieved them of their curse. So when King Shantanu heard this, he was filled with guilt because he misunderstood his wife for being a very cruel lady. And Ganga Devi and King Shantanu named their 8th son as Devabrata. So Devabrata is also another name for Bhishmacharya. And then Ganga Devi told King Shantanu that it was time for her to take leave, and she will be taking Devabrata along with her because she wanted him to be tutored with the great gurus, and once he was skilled in all areas, she would return him back to the father. So Devabrata, who's actually Bhishmacharya, was tutored by the great sages like Brihaspati and Shukracharya, who taught him about the Shastras and duties of a king. Sage Vasishta taught him about the Vedas. Markandeya taught him about the duties of Yatis. Sage Parashurama trained him in warfare. And Sanat Kumara, one of the sons of Brahma, he taught him about mental and spiritual sciences, and Indradeva gave him the celestial weapons. Once he was skilled in all areas, Ganga Devi returned her beloved son to King Shantanu, who was the ruler of Hastinapura. So all the citizens of Hastinapura loved Bhismacharya, and all was good in Bhismacharya's life when the cruel play of destiny entered his life. So once King Shantanu had gone to the forest for hunting. There he met a beautiful woman called Satyavati. He wanted to marry her. So Satyavati was doing ferry service across the river, but her father had few conditions, like Satyavati's son should be crowned the king of Hastinapura, and Bhismacharya, who was King Shantanu's son, should never be crowned, nor should he marry or have kids. So just imagine how selfish Satyavati's father was. So King Shantanu, when he heard this, he was devastated because he loved Satyavati, but he loved his son Bhismacharya even more. So he didn't know what to do and he was totally depressed. So Bhismacharya, who loved his father a lot, he came to know of this incident from one of the ministers. So immediately, Bhismacharya, he went and met Satyavati's father and he agreed to all his conditions. So the fierce promise which he gave to Satyavati's father, like I will not marry, I will not be crowned, I won't have kids. Because of his fierce promise, from the Devavrata, he was named as Bhishma. Bhishma in Sanskrit meaning fierce. So he agreed to all the conditions, and when King Shantanu came to know of this, he was deeply touched. And he granted Bhismacharya a boon which is called as Ichcha Mrityu, meaning he could control his time of death. Ichcha meaning wish, Mrityu meaning death. So he could choose like when he wanted to die. The Kauravas and the Pandavas were his grandnephews, so he tutored them and he always tried to maintain peace between the two cousins. So in the epic battle of Kurukshetra, though Bhismacharya respected the Pandavas, he joined the Kaurava army and he fought against the Pandavas. So Bhismacharya, he loved and he deeply respected Lord Krishna. It is said that Bhismacharya joined the Kaurava army so that he could see his Lord in the form of Partha Sarathi. Partha refers to Arjuna and Sarathi meaning charioteer, because in the Kurukshetra battle, Lord Krishna was the charioteer for Arjuna. And Lord Krishna had taken a resolve that he would never use any weapon in the battle. So Bhismacharya, though he respected Lord Krishna, he wanted Lord Krishna to break his promise. Because Bhismacharya wanted to show Duryodhana that he is very loyal to the Kaurava army, because Duryodhana, he knew that Bhismacharya was always partial towards the Pandavas and he loved Krishna. So Bhismacharya, he wanted Lord Krishna to take the weapon and break the promise. During the battle, Bhismacharya shot many arrows at Lord Krishna. It was not meant to hurt Lord Krishna, but Bhismacharya considered it as his form of worship, archana or devotion, and Lord Krishna secretly understood the meaning and his devotion. So Bhismacharya then shot innumerable arrows at Arjuna. So he wanted to hurt Arjuna, because if Arjuna was hurt, then Lord Krishna would break his promise and use a weapon. So Krishna was so furious that he took the wheel of the chariot and used it as a weapon, and he broke the promise. And he came towards Bhismacharya furiously. So when he came towards Bhismacharya, Bhismacharya's eyes were filled with tears, because Lord Krishna accepted the defeat, that he said that he would not take a weapon, but he took a weapon so that Bhismacharya could win in front of the Kaurava army. Such is the Lord, because he will accept defeat for himself if it is meant that his devotee should win. He has such a sweet heart. So Arjuna then shot back many arrows at Bhismacharya, and Bhismacharya fell to the ground with all the arrows protruding out from his body, and he lay on a bed of arrows. So though Bhismacharya had Icha Mrityu. He could control the time of death which he got from his father, the boon he got from his father. He did not die then. He was waiting for the Uttarayana period. Uttarayana period is when the sun moves from the southern hemisphere to the northern hemisphere. And it is said that when one dies during this period, the soul, departs to higher lokas, higher divine lokas. So when Bhismacharya was lying on a bed of arrows and waiting for the right time for his soul to depart, Lord Krishna asked Yudhishthira to ask Bhismacharya to tutor him on dharma, like how to rule a kingdom, and all the knowledgeable things, what Bhismacharya knew. So when Yudhishthira asked Bhismacharya, Bhismacharya started pouring out his knowledge eagerly. And he tutored him for many days. And when the right time came, he became silent. And with his eyes wide open, he looked at Lord Krishna, who was standing right in front of him with his glittering jewelry and in his majestic form, with his Makara, Kuntala, Vaidurya, Kidida and Pitambara wearing yellow garments. Lord Krishna was standing right in front of him. And how blessed was Bhismacharya, because when his soul was about to depart, he's seeing Lord Krishna alive in front of him. And Bhismacharya, instantly he'll just compose Bhishma Stuti, which is praises to Lord Krishna, which we will see in the next video. And when the right time came, his soul departed to Matruloka, which is a loka above heaven. So the day Bhismacharya died is actually Makara Sankranti day, and the death anniversary of Bhismacharya is celebrated as Bhishma Ashtami. And it is celebrated across many parts of the country, and people pray. So what can we learn from Bhismacharya? Bhismacharya emphasized on the importance of family, self-control over the senses, strong willpower, being true to oneself and the promises made, performing duties by being detached, and devotion to the Lord.